Absolutely. You're watching the Daily Report. You're done with the news. Back to the State of the Nation conversation with my guests who've patiently waited here in studio. Beatrice Elachi, Member of Parliament for Dagoretti North, as well as Dismas Mukua, Political Risk Analyst, and Gloria Oroba, Mheshimiwa Gloria Oroba, a nominated senator. Thank you for staying with us and for patiently waiting. Dismas, have you wound up pulling the press-ups later on?
Yeah, I wanted to raise a fundamental issue as put forward by Gloria. In my view, religious leaders or church leaders can exercise their discretion and offer position statements or criticize the government at pleasure. If they want to do it once a year, once a day, once every hour, there is no politician who is allowed to say that if you didn't talk about global warming, now you cannot discuss about corruption in the administration. They need to do it at their pleasure. And then for the few people who are saying that we need to go back to NHIF, I doubt whether any person who has ever interacted with NHIF and understands the healthcare reforms would want us to go back. In my view, the train has already left the station. The horse has bolted. It's now up to the competent authorities to ensure that the transition is well managed in the interest of morale. And then secondly, an issue that the lady on my left and right now must address is the cost of pharma. The pharmaceutical sector in Kenya is robbing Kenyans blind, or maybe as the white men would say, robbing people white. You'd find maybe medication is supposed to go for, I mean, the recommended price by the manufacturer is 10 shillings, but the distributors in Kenya would sell it as much as 100 bob. So in as much as we live in a free market or a capitalistic economy, the issue of the cost of pharma in Kenya is so high to be left to the vagaries of demand and supply. Okay.
Mheshimiwa Elachi, looking at the whole, you've highlighted the issues that you felt, I mean, from SHA, from NHIF to SHA shift, and that is the whole discussion, as you say, some things have not been addressed. Yes. What would be some, as you end up on this whole issue of especially healthcare, and I'll throw it to you all, beginning with you, Mheshimiwa, what would be that one thing that perhaps the government just needs to do to just, quote unquote, get things right in terms of communication and communicating to its citizens?
Well, as I said, the best would have been we just first register people. You see, if you are registered and you know I can walk into a hospital, either I'm using my ID card, because you no longer get a card of your shift, but you can just walk in with your ID and be treated. And you see now people assume that in every health care, they must have something that sounds a card of health to know that now it is true they can be treated. And so people need to come and give them, I mean, the team has to give assurance. How I wish the team can use the different media houses, first of all, to just create that awareness of this is how you register, you come to this point. You see the way we do voter registration? If we can buy an equipment, all that amount, surely we would have left some little, or those who are, their social corporate program would have been, let us now go to media houses and create awareness on just especially when they tell you now, because you register and then you have now to go to this Teams thing. So that's where the problem is, because that's where I think now you have to clearly give your data for you now to be now fully registered. So people will tell you, oh yeah, I received being told I have registered. But how come when I go, I'm unable to use? But I'll give you an example. There's a mzee who went to Machakos and was able, but you see him, he was smart enough. He first went and said, register me. After that, he was treated very well with his shift. So I want to tell Kenyans, it will work as long as first we go through the first step. Register people until the end, until you feel you've registered. That's what I was saying. If indeed we are unable completely, use our constituency offices. We have community health workers. Why were they then recruited? They can be used to now take people. In your household of 100, a community health worker can tell us, in my household, only 10 have registered. Only 5 have registered. So use the structures that are there to register our people. And that way, you'll find now everyone. But you can't tell me we have 12 million people who have registered. But then now you come and tell, when you ask that person, okay, you have registered, yes, then you find there were many steps that she or he needs to finalize to be completely registered. And I think that's where people are frustrated.
Okay.
So let's do the register. Let's stop thinking about how the money is coming, how you are paying, because I saw everyone just talks about data. Forget about data. Now let's go to the real people who are supposed to go to hospital. There is that health fund, which is very good, yes, that when you register in your level 4 hospital, especially in the counties, then your hospital every month will be able to get a capitation of you. Okay. But then before that starts, you need the registration to happen. So the key agenda here is registration, registration. Sure. And the president must take it now after the Catholics and the bishops have spoken and every church is now speaking. Let him now, I think, order his team, because the last time we ordered, it's like they didn't understand what we were saying until now the church has to go and talk to the president when he's in church. It is wrong. In fact, you need to fire the whole team and tell us where this equipment came from, and ask Safaricom what is the problem also, because sometimes you find it just goes, data goes, and it just hangs, the whole thing hangs. And that is what is frustrating people. And I want to say, we cannot go back to NHIF. It's a good insurance for all of us, but I need to tell the team, it's not about just firing the CEO. And I hope the guys at the president are not also sabotaging us so that they come and do the job. Because maybe they are the ones sabotaging also the whole system. Because that's how we function. When we know we have interest somewhere, you sabotage. Because the council that advises the president understands this. When you meet them, they talk to you, you wonder, okay, what are you saying? And what is this that I'm saying? You find yourself even you questioning yourself whether, were you doing the right thing? Are you doing it rightfully in the phone? So I hope they did not sabotage, because I know they can do that. What we want is a serious team that is up there, but can you connect and work with the people who are down there who are supposed to get this important service?
No, it's okay, it's okay.
You're heading there.
Yes.
You're in between them.
No, he has spoken too much. You know, there's something.
No,
there's
I just wanted
something
to make one point.
No, you wait. You wait. You wait.
And with this one, you have to wait.
Yes, I have to wait.
There's something that Mheshimiwa Elachi has talked about registering. And I'm wondering why we keep reinventing the wheel. Something new comes up, let's register, let's register. Safaricom subscribers as of 2024 are 47 million. That means they have data of 47 million Kenyans. And by the way, Safaricom doesn't just have data of names and IDs. Remember the thing they were calling re-registration. They even took photos, biometrics. So Safaricom is sitting with 47 million Kenyans data that you require for this social health care, you know? So if you have 47 already registered on Safaricom, you'd rather tell us that we have a problem with third-party, sharing of third-party, of data to third parties.
Data protection.
And then we can go back to Parliament and pass an amendment, maybe, under the Data Protection Act, that says for purposes of our rights and whatever in terms of healthcare, this registration of 47 million Kenyans that is domiciled in this particular database, we are saying that it is okay, that it is used for the healthcare. Because our population is 55.1 M. So if we have 47 million, we have a deficit of what, 8 or something?
8 or 9.
So why are we wasting money with registration? Why are we calling people, telling people, kuja tena ujiandikishe, for what? For what is the purpose?
So why are these ideas, not very enumerated in your plan?
By the way, let me tell you something. Yes. You know, and in the risk of sounding
just say
like a critic all the time, you know, people just assume that just because you are affiliated or you are from UDA or you are there. Sometimes we also wake up as me, Senator Gloria Roba, nominated from UDA, and I'm like, what is that? And you know, let me tell you why. It's because two things have happened in this past election and this space that we are in. Number one, we have a very accommodative president. You will come in, you knew nothing about our campaign slogan, you knew nothing about our manifesto, but because for one reason or another you have come into the space, you will be given a chance to exercise your thoughts, your ideas. And I find that this thing of being too nice, opening the doors to everyone, some of us, we sit and we are like, wait guys, this person, do they understand that the Hustler Nation movement, this was the fundamental of it? So sometimes we also get shocked about it. Okay. But I can tell you that we have a forum when we are shocked every other time, where we exercise our engagement. Me personally, I'm known to talk too much, criticize in that our forum. Because I'll go back there and say, what's wrong with you people? How hard is it for you to just put a service charter for Linda Mama? Till today, I've been asking for a service charter.
The president can order. Does he?
No, it's not about the president can order. Why? Let me ask you, why would I sit as the CEO of a country? And then I have my team, which I have appointed, who are supposed to be technocrats, because they are technocrats, with papers and everything, including the accounting officers. You know, you don't hire children to do the job. You hire adults who you give them the responsibility and you say, this is your docket, this is your responsibility. If I've hired you, George, why would you expect and anticipate that every other time in your docket, I have to come as the president, micromanage you, and then communicate on your behalf, and then do... No. You have been given this opportunity to go and exercise your skills.
Perhaps they don't understand.
You know, and at the end of the day, that's why sometimes when you're on the outside, and you're looking in, it looks chaotic. But when you're on the inside looking out, I can tell you one problem that we have, as I've said. We have certain individuals who don't even understand our manifesto. But for one reason or another, including the Gen Z culmination, they are in office. So what we can do as people who care about this country, as patriotic people, is we can hold their hands. Okay. So from time to time, for instance, I will pick up the phone and call a cabinet secretary or whoever. You know me, I don't really care about which rank is where. And I'll be like, listen, I am in Pumwani and this is what is happening. Are you aware? And that is my role as an active citizen from the inside. Okay. And that's, you know, for me, it's like, okay, we are in this situation. How can I help this situation? But don't, you know, when you're always calling out, let them be fired. How many times will you fire a cabinet? And how many times will you, we'll be doing 5 years of, Wezi, wacha ashuke. Wezi, 5 years.
Let me give you a minute, because again, you're the victim before you go to a break. Before you go to a break, just a minute, you can respond.
But I'll say something.
You see now, it's very strange that President Ruto has to do a town hall meeting to explain the education funding model.
I know.
And you have a cabinet secretary responsible for education. And President Ruto has to explain the healthcare reforms, and you've got a cabinet secretary responsible for health. In fact, the current cabinet secretary, I cannot even remember her name, but I recall she was either the Senate or the National Assembly.
Baraza.
Yeah, and she was at pains to explain to legislators on what these reforms are all about. When every Kenyan knows that October last year, the president signed 4 bills into law, and the impact is well known. Now, you've got a cabinet secretary responsible for health, who cannot explain to members of the National Assembly and Senate the import of the legislation. Even now, people are supposed to pay. That is number one. Okay. Number two, legislators in Kenya pass a law, like the healthcare reforms, the 4 bills, and they get shocked when the laws are implemented. For instance, the members of the National Assembly and Senate knew that Safaricom has got a database of 47 million Kenyans, but they passed the law, the Digital Health Act, which is safeguarded by the Data Protection Act and all the relevant statutes and legislation. Okay. But when it has been implemented, again, the acts are priced. So then what is the role of the National Assembly and Senate? If they're behaving surprised like an Omomura or a Kinyi, yes, that
let's give
the Digital Health Act, however, has a provision to allow us, as I've said, to pick up these 47 million subscribers.
So you want to make the change?
We are not shocked.
So you want to make the change after the hose has bolted?
No. But you see, one of the things we have to ask ourselves, you see, government is not even the CS. I've always said government is the directors. The civil servants are the real government. They are the ones who write for you. You go and explain to the president. So you are it's a chain of many people. But in terms of the data, who are the owners of the whole hardware that we are supposed to use to create this system? It is the same Safaricom. So Safaricom cannot tell me you gave us a system and then again, that system is the one bringing us problems. That's why I was saying there must be someone somewhere sabotaging. Because they have, it's not even about Parliament anymore. It's just thinking through and getting to know, while I am getting this, the same way you registered the 12 million, see, we were sending to people, 12 million people. How come you didn't know their data? Well, how come you got their data to send me a message to say I'm registered? How come? Why didn't you just clear and finish with the whole? And then, who then told us that you need 20 questions to fill in this for a Kenyan who has been with NHIF? The 12 million who are in NHIF, you had their data fully. You just seamlessly needed to have moved them. And then when they come to hospital, is when you update if you are really serious.
Those 20 questions seem to be really irking you, Mheshimiwa. Let's take a short break.
I did one for a SHA who is very unwell, and I had to walk to Kenyatta
and bureaucratic.
Make sure she is registered fully. We sat there. I thought we'd finish 20. Beyond 20, 1 hour. We haven't finalized. So I asked them, we are 50 million plus. If as we are finished, we use 1 hour to get all this information you want, and you've already put in the system.
50 million hours.
Really?
All right.
Yeah, 50 million of us, because you have to take care of my family, and it is a system where first you register alone, then I don't know. Those things have to stop.
Let's take a break,
Mheshimiwa. We just need to go to a simple way of doing it, and you update it as we move.
As we move on. Let's take a break. When we come back, we have more to unwind and unpack, of course, on matters state of the nation and other issues affecting the country. Do stay with us and keep your feedback coming.